Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're taking a deep dive into Confessions of an Indian Immigrant, which is this incredibly personal and really insightful account you shared with us.
It really is.
This isn't just a story, right? It's more like a time capsule. It gives this raw, humorous, sometimes frankly startling look at arriving in the U.S. back in 1989.
Yeah, 1989. Think about that.
Exactly. Imagine stepping into a new country, just $400 in your pocket. And this is long before smartphones, widespread email. Forget Google Maps.
No instant answers.
None. So our mission today is really to pull out the most important nuggets from this, those sort of aha moments that give you a shortcut to being well-informed about what is, I think, a truly remarkable journey.
And what's so compelling right from the start is how this one person's journey, while it's unique in the details, it just beautifully illuminates these universal themes like cultural adaptation, resilience, and that, relentless pursuit of opportunity. It really helps us understand the why behind so many immigrant experiences. It gives such a rich, multi-layered perspective.
Yeah, definitely. Our narrator, Aithal, he arrived from Mumbai, India, obviously, in 1989. And just for context, Mark Zuckerberg was, 5 years old?
Wow. Yeah.
And Larry Page, Sergey Brin, the Google guys, they were teenagers. There was just no instant information like we have now.
Not at your fingertips, no.
Aithal describes this initial culture shock as just profound. I mean, coming from a country where gun culture was basically non-existent to one that was, openly embracing it. And he landed just days after the infamous Central Park 5 case had happened. That was dominating the news, hugely publicized, racially charged.
And thrown right into it.
Immediately immersed him in a very, very different social reality straight off the bat.
That immediately sets the stage, doesn't it? It's such a powerful reminder of how fundamentally different the world was then. And how much more challenging that initial assimilation must have been without the tools we just take for granted today.
Totally.
It really makes you wonder, how did people navigate such immense transitions back then?
Well, he gets into that. He recounts how he, prided himself on being forward-thinking, liberal. He was a product of an intercultural marriage in Mumbai, which, by the way, was called Bombay then. That's one of many cities that later restored its original name after British rule.
Ah, interesting detail.
Yeah. And he even shares this common joke about regional stereotypes back home. You had South Indians who typically preferred stable, often government jobs.
Right, this stereotype.
Versus Gujaratis, who were seen as more business-minded. They were famously tied to the Patel Motel rap, that cultural reference about their entrepreneurial path, especially in the U.S. motel industry.
Okay, so he's setting up his own background, his own sort of internal framework.
Exactly.
That initial self-description is quite crucial, I think. It highlights his, his liberal values, his diverse upbringing, all of which would be tested and maybe evolved by his experiences in the U.S.
Absolutely.
It subtly introduces that whole concept of identity and how it shifts, how it changes through migration. And it makes me curious, from his perspective, how much of that identity actually did change? Or did it solidify?
That's a great question, and we definitely see it unfold. So he was working as a programmer, but he felt his career had kind of stagnated,
Yes, plateau.
Yeah. Then one Sunday, he's just browsing the classifieds in the Times of India, and something catches his eye. An ad for a mainframe computer course.
Okay.
With this lure, this promise of travel to the U.S. for an assignment. Now, he'd never worked on mainframes.
Right.
Ever. But his curiosity was piqued.
Wow.
I mean, can you imagine taking that kind of leap based on a newspaper ad today? It seems wild.
It's definitely a testament to a different era, for sure. Yeah. A different level of risk-taking, maybe.
Maybe. And his family's reaction to this decision, it's quite telling. His father just gives this understated,
Okay.
His mother, though, she says, I think you should do it. And his wife backs her up, saying she has a point. So it reveals this collective encouragement. Ah, that's nice.
Even though he was nervous himself, especially since he didn't have an engineering or computer science degree.
That family dynamic, that's really a powerful moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
It underscores that shared decision-making, the strong support that often underpins these huge, ambitious ventures in many cultures. It might contrast a bit with, more individualistic decisions we might see elsewhere. Makes you wonder about the unspoken hopes and sacrifices tied up in that, and I think you should do it.
Totally. So with the family's blessing, the interview process for this CICS course that's a specialized mainframe thing, it began. It was 6 weeks, hands-on, cost 5,000 Indian rupees.
Which is about
About $360 US back then.
Yeah.
Maybe closer to $60 now adjusted, but still a significant amount.
Yeah, for sure.
The consultancy, Moffat Law, was a 45-minute bus ride from his home in Vile Parle, famous for Parle-G cookies, by the way.
Huh, nice local detail.
He was just relieved he enrolled early because they capped the class at 50. First come, first serve. And get this, no course material, just a notepad. Wow. Just shows the sheer determination needed. It wasn't some prepackaged program. It was a race, a leap of faith into a field he didn't fully know with minimal resources.
Exactly. So fast forward to the actual interview for the U.S. assignment. Our narrator says he was a nervous wreck.
I bet.
Especially about his English. He came from a vernacular medium school, meaning instruction was mostly in, like, Gujarati or Hindi, not English. So English was his third language.
Okay, that adds pressure.
Luckily, his father had insisted he speak English from 6th grade onwards, which helped. He felt he was better than most schoolmates.
Fatherly wisdom there.
Definitely. And he was even coached on these little cultural differences, like address a U.S. embassy official as Miss, understand U.S. ground floor versus Indian first floor.
Oh, the little things that trip you up.
Right. And avoid British English words like fag for cigarette or rubber for eraser because they had totally different, potentially offensive meanings in American English.
And that small detail, the language proficiency, the specific words, it just highlights those invisible cultural barriers immigrants face, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's not just learning the language, it's adapting to the local nuances, the accents, the cultural references. It's subtle, but it's a profound part of assimilation.
A pivotal moment came during his interview with Don Lyles. Now, this guy was a pioneer, really instrumental in putting the Indian IT industry on the map globally.
Okay, a key figure.
Big time. Don started hiring Indian consultants way back in the late 70s, and he was looking for communication skills, maybe even more than just pure technical qualifications.
Interesting focus.
So our narrator was totally surprised when Mr. V, the Moffat Law contact, just quickly says, "Congratulations, you are in, he wants you."
Wow, just like that.
Just like that. He said he felt like $1 million, but then Mr. V immediately brought him back to earth with the next hurdles.
Always more hurdles.
Yep. Resign from his current job, start working for Moffat Law, and the big one, secure a U.S. visa.
It's remarkable how one major obstacle gets cleared, and boom, several more appear, each with its own anxiety attached. It's a constant negotiation.
And that visa process itself was, fraught with anxiety. He learned owning property back in India would have helped show ties, reasons to return.
Right, the intent to return issue.
And his lack of an advanced degree was also a disadvantage, even though they told him there was a 90% success rate for the visas.
He's worried about being the 10%.
Constantly. He worried about being in that 10% who got denied. He gets to the U.S. consulate, sees this long queue of hopeful faces, finds his course mates, Rajul and Rahul. They'd arrived at 3 a.m. just to get a spot in line.
Wow, 3 a.m. dedication.
And he describes the chaiwala there, the tea vendor selling chai garam, meaning hot tea. And he notes, even now, how much it frustrates him when he hears chai tea in the U.S.
Which is literally TT.
Exactly.
Yeah, that little chai tea anecdote, it seems small, but it just beautifully eliminates that common immigrant experience, doesn't it? That subtle erasure or misinterpretation of your culture in a new place. It's a moment of, frustration, but also pride in your heritage.
Yeah.
A small example of how cultural identity is constantly being negotiated.
So the actual visa interview, a lady in her 40s, behind bulletproof glass. She asks about property. He says his father owns their flat.
Okay.
She notes, in other words, you don't own anything here. Ouch.
Oof, yeah.
But then, amazingly, she makes an exception. Grants him a 6-month visa. Just like that. He remembers this lady as someone who literally changed his life.
And that just underscores the human element in these bureaucratic processes, right?
Yeah.
A single person's discretion, a small exception, can have these profound, life-altering consequences.
Absolutely.
It highlights the immense power held by those gatekeepers in the system.
So, visa secured. Huge relief.
Yeah.
But the next big hurdle was surprising, learning to cook.
Wait, cooking?
Yeah. Mr. V warned him, look, most guys we send over, they don't know how to cook. You'll be 4 men to an apartment. And if you don't know how to cook, you can't contribute to meals. That means you'll end up doing all the dishes. And trust me, you don't want that.
Practical advice.
Very practical. So he gets a crash course from his mother, learns the basic spices, turmeric, chili powder, mustard seeds, asafoetida, hing.
The essentials.
He also learns about the complexities of Indian vegetarianism. Like some eat dairy but no eggs. Others avoid root vegetables like potatoes or garlic.
Right, it's not just one thing.
He quickly found out how much effort actually goes into real Indian cooking. It's way beyond just boiling a potato.
Yep.
He's lamenting the absence of simple roti and dal, the everyday flatbread and lentils.
That detail is so rich with cultural insight, isn't it? It challenges those gender role stereotypes in the household.
Totally.
And it highlights how immigration often forces people to learn entirely new life skills, breaking down those traditional divisions of labor. Plus, it gives us this glimpse into the incredible diversity of Indian food, way beyond what many might assume. It's a practical skill, but it's also like a deeper cultural immersion, forced or not.
So, as his departure date gets closer, it's time for some final training. He's watching videos by N.R. Narayana Murthy.
Okay, the Infosys founder.
The very same. He calls him the Bill Gates of India. Murthy had developed software for Don Lyle's company, Patney Computers, before porting it to IBM mainframes and then founding Infosys, actually with Don's encouragement.
Wow, those early connections.
Yeah, it's a cool reminder of those foundational relationships that really built the global IT industry, basically from scratch.
Fascinating.
Then comes the actual packing. He's allowed 2 suitcases, and he's struggling to condense, as he puts it, over 2 decades of life into them.
Oh man, I can't even imagine.
He'd never even worn a sweater before, let alone a proper winter coat for New York. The list of winter stuff felt overwhelming.
Right, from Mumbai to a New York winter. Huge jump.
Huge. And friends who'd already been to the U.S. are giving him advice on everything. Don't take fruits and vegetables through customs, how driving is on the other side of the road.
The basics, yeah.
But also, critically, never get out of the car if you're pulled over by police.
Whoa, okay. That's heavy advice.
Yeah. These tips, while useful, honestly made him start doubting leaving his beloved country.
And that part is such a powerful illustration of, like, anticipatory culture shock, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The sheer volume of new, potentially life-saving information, plus the emotional weight of leaving home, it's immense. It underscores that psychological burden of adapting to a whole new set of rules, from driving to how you interact with authority.
Yeah, it's not just excitement. There's real apprehension there.
For sure.
So he finally departs Mumbai. He's clutching just $400 US.
Bye.
His first flight ever. It's to Kuwait, then a connecting 14-hour haul to New York. He describes the initial excitement just giving way to the reality of the unknown.
The long flight settling in.
Yeah, and he vividly remembers smoking on the plane in the designated smoking section.
Oh man, remember those days. Seems crazy now.
Totally ridiculous now. He also smells the plas, that Gujarati flatbread someone brought, and it just whisks him back to Mumbai, makes him crave home.
The power of smell.
And he notes the peculiar Mecca arrow on the in-flight screen. He says it was a common pre-9/11 feature on Middle Eastern airlines.
Huh. Little details of a different time.
So he arrives at JFK, first taste of American ingenuity, this feeder bus that connects right to the plane. A contraption he'd never seen.
Like a jet bridge, but a bus.
Yeah. Then he's greeted by this vast area, multiple queues for immigration, and he encounters an African-American lady the first time he'd seen one up close.
Okay, another first.
He answers her questions, purpose of visit, gets his passport stamped, heads to customs, breezes through the green channel because Mr. V had warned him, no perishables.
Oh, smart move.
Saved him hassle.
Those contrasting images, though, the awe at American ingenuity with the bus versus the unfamiliarity with different ethnicities, it gives such a nuanced view of that initial sensory overload for an immigrant. It's not just the big cultural differences, but all those small, everyday adjustments that really define the experience. So many layers to a completely new environment.
He's met by Mr. S., a manager from Moffat Law, who'll be overseeing him. Initially, they stay in a hotel in Queens. This terrifies our narrator.
Because of the $400.
Exactly. He's thinking his money will just vanish. He describes being confused by boulevard, like Queens Belvedere, thinking it was just an abbreviation for a street name.
Little language things again?
Yeah. So he shares a room with Rajul and Rahul, his course mates, just to save money, splitting costs, trying to stretch our dollars for a month.
Makes sense. Pooling resources.
Their next living situation, Brooklyn. A tiny one-bedroom ground floor apartment shared by 5 people.
5 people. How?
With only 1 bathroom.
Oh, boy.
Mr. S devises this relay system for getting ready. First person wakes at 4 a.m., uses the bathroom, gets ready, wakes the next person, repeat.
Like clockwork.
He notes that although he was technically single in the U.S., he was still married back home, missing his wife. The solution was most practical, he admits, but he quickly realizes, I can't continue doing this. He needed something closer to the office anyway.
That is such a quintessential immigrant experience, isn't it? Where personal space, comfort, it all gets sacrificed for economic necessity.
Absolutely.
It highlights the ingenuity, the communal living that often marks those early stages of establishing yourself. A remarkable level of adaptation just for survival.
So his first days at the DBC office in Brooklyn Heights, nice view, overlooking the Statue of Liberty and the Twin Towers.
Iconic view.
Had its own learning curve. He meets a young man named Sandy, initially thinks it's a girl's name.
Common confusion.
He also notes many Indians adopted restaurant names, or shortened their names, just for convenience, make them easier for Americans to pronounce.
Yeah, the name game. Another adjustment.
And he quickly learns about this office policy.
Yeah.
No phones at desks. You had to use the receptionist's phone.
A bottleneck.
And the receptionist was this formidable, large, make that very large, African-American woman. His friend nicknamed her Shurpanaka.
Okay, that's a reference to a character from the Ramayana, right? A powerful, imposing, demoness figure.
Exactly. Underscores her authoritative presence, I guess.
I don't see how they perceived her, yeah.
But then, and this next part really deepens our understanding of the challenges. A truly shocking incident happens. It brings the reality of gun culture right home.
Oh.
A colleague, Kevin, gets shot at a bar by an off-duty, intoxicated police officer.
Oh, my God.
Seriously.
Yeah. The bullet pierced both his lungs, lodged in his arm. Our narrator describes his body just going numb, realizing that gun violence, something he'd only seen in Hollywood movies,
Was suddenly real.
was now hitting way too close for comfort.
Yeah.
This incident prompted him, Rajul, and Rahul to realize they had to find an apartment closer to the office. They feared the long commute in a city where things like this could just happen. Wow. That is such a stark reminder of the unpredictable challenges immigrants face. Events completely outside their control, but deeply impactful.
Right.
It contrasts so sharply with whatever preconceived notions they might have had about the U.S., forces this rapid, often terrifying, reevaluation of safety, of vulnerability. What a sobering aha moment for him.
Absolutely. His guardian angel in this new city, he calls her Aruna Masi.
Masi, like an ant figure.
Yeah, exactly. A term of endearment. Not a blood relative, but a childhood neighbor's wife's sister. Close connection. She lived in Coney Island, way at the other end of the borough from Brooklyn Heights.
Okay.
She helps him navigate the daunting task of finding an apartment. She dismisses lots of options. Too far away, not in a safe neighborhood, too expensive.
Having local knowledge helps.
Immensely. They end up in a Jewish neighborhood in a typical Brooklyn-style two-storied brick structure on a nice tree-lined street. Sounds okay.
Sounds promising.
The apartment itself, a tiny square room with freshly painted walls, no windows, an uneven dirt floor covered by thin carpet.
Oh.
Okay.
Less promising.
He calls it a dungeon, but concludes, beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah, harsh reality bites.
And his first grocery store visit in the U.S., also an awe-inspiring experience. Coming from India, where imports were strictly regulated back then,
Right.
he was just fascinated by all the imported stuff. He notes, kind of wryly, that FOBs, that term for fresh off the boat, are easily identifiable no matter how hard they try to fit in.
That feeling of sticking out.
Yeah. Then he describes making coffee in a deli. It's a DIY thing, right? You get the cup, add milk, sugar yourself.
Standard deli coffee, yeah.
Compared to being served a pre-mixed cup back in India, he concludes that because of the overabundance of highly cheap labor in India, FOBs are used to being served. So this independence, doing things yourself, was a major cultural shift.
That segment just beautifully highlights the profound impact of those daily micro experiences on the immigrant psyche, doesn't it?
It really does.
From huge public safety concerns like the shooting down to the mundane task of making coffee. Each interaction reinforces that vast cultural chasm. It demands continuous adaptation, continuous resilience.
Yeah.
It really connects to the why it matters of these stories. The everyday adjustments build up into this monumental life change.
Then a major life event happens. His wife is pregnant.
Okay. Big news.
Big news, but it immediately raises this dilemma for him. He's living like a bachelor, remember, 5 guys in a room trying to save every penny.
Right. Not ideal for a family.
Not at all. He can't go back to India. Muffatlal would sue him if he broke his contract. The only choice. His wife has to come to the U.S.
Wow. So she has to leave her life behind, too.
Exactly. Meant she had to resign from her job as a professor, apply for her own visa. Luckily, she got it quickly, which was a huge relief to him, especially given how tough visas could be.
Thank goodness for that.
So he wanted to celebrate her birthday with her when she arrived, which meant finding a separate apartment. Just for the two of them.
The financial pressure ramps up.
Big time. This was a huge challenge. He'd be absorbing the entire rent himself, around $450 out of his $1,000 monthly living expenses. He says the American dream seemed like an American nightmare at that point.
I can imagine. The numbers just don't add up easily.
But his college friend, Subra, came to the rescue, found them a small studio that had been converted into a one-bedroom. It was on the first floor, which is the ground floor in Indian terms, convenient for his pregnant wife.
Good friend. That community support again.
Absolutely. He even recalls their old canteen days in college when they were perpetually broke, often ordering 1x2 tea.
Sharing a single cup to save money.
Yep, a common practice. Shows how far back that resourcefulness goes.
That shift from collective living, 5 guys in a room, to the individual family unit, that's such a common trajectory for immigrants. And the financial implications are immediate, aren't they?
Yeah.
Emphasizes that constant calculus, balancing opportunity with these new responsibilities. And the Friend Support Network, it's just a testament to how important community is in mitigating those pressures.
Definitely.
Shows how personal relationships become even more vital during these transitions.
So moving into the new apartment, he describes being genuinely scared of living alone. Images of his colleague Kevin bleeding.
Still haunting him.
Yeah. The Central Park attacks weren't helping either. He actually distributed single-dollar bills into different pockets.
As like mugging protection, give them one pocket.
Exactly. A strategy. He shared this comical detail with Rajul, who apparently concealed his smirk.
Trying to be practical in his fear.
And then his wife arrives, but she doesn't recognize him at JFK.
Oh, why?
He'd shaved his mustache for a fresh start.
Oh, no. Bad move, maybe.
Her reaction was apparently shock and displeasure. He promised to grow it back as she didn't get used to it.
A rocky start to the reunion.
And he recounts this particularly traumatic experience. One night, he's working late. He couldn't call his wife, remember? No phone at the new apartment yet.
Oh, right. Bad timing.
She's left alone, pregnant, in a totally unknown country, just praying. He finally comes home, middle of the night, and realizes how incredibly insensitive he'd been.
Oh, that hits hard.
He reflects, anything could have happened that night. Anything. She could have miscarried our daughter. He says it was a defining moment, showing the immense emotional burden often placed on immigrant spouses.
Wow. That is such a powerful anecdote. It underscores those hidden anxieties, the vulnerabilities of immigrant families, especially for those left behind or navigating new places alone.
It really does.
It's a deeply human moment, captures the fear, the isolation that can accompany these journeys, and how you adapt to new forms of responsibility, sometimes painfully.
So as his wife's pregnancy progresses, they're navigating the U.S. healthcare system. At Coney Island Hospital, a general ward because they had no insurance.
Yeah, that's tough.
But his Masi and Masa Aruna and Chandrakant, the aunt and uncle figures they worked at the hospital, they guided them, provided meals. Their son, Paresh, who's now a surgeon, even volunteered to do quick checkups for them. Community support again.
That network is everything.
And he reminisces about listening to cricket commentary on a Grundig radio in the middle of the night because of the time difference. Just a small comfort from home.
Those little anchors.
Then, in late spring or early summer of 1990, another big shift. DBC, his company, relocates its office from New York to Florida.
Whoa, okay, another move.
He was elated, actually. Found Florida a paradise compared to gloomy New York. Sunshine, beaches, theme parks.
Big change in environment.
Huge. Boca Raton was apparently an expensive county. Lots of millionaires, billionaires. But Broward County, specifically North Lauderdale, offered more affordable options.
Find the right spot.
Their new apartment complex even had pools, a gym, a laundromat, all for $600 for a 2-bedroom, including utilities. Much better deal than Brooklyn.
Sounds like an upgrade.
They furnished it with yard sale fines. One person's junk is another person's treasure.
Making a home. That move to Florida, it reveals yet another layer of adaptation, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Not just adapting to a new country, but to different regions within it, each with its own culture, cost of living, environment. It highlights that continuous journey of resettling. You don't just arrive once.
That's a great point. And the reality of America is a massive country with plenty of open lands, but limited public transport that hit them hard in Florida.
Car culture shock.
Totally. They quickly realized they had to drive everywhere. A stark contrast to walking or using public transport easily back in India or even NYC.
Big adjustment.
So he gets his driver's license, buys a Honda. He notes most Indian FOBs seem to gravitate towards Hondas or Toyotas back then. Reliability, maybe?
Probably, yeah. Seventh choice.
He even used a friend as his financial advisor to negotiate the price down by $500. Resourceful again.
Not a haggle.
And he also touches on Hinglish, that mix of Hindi and English that many Indians speak, similar to Spanglish.
Yeah, the blending of languages.
His time in Florida brought other insights too, like the scarcity of Indian grocery stores then. The message was clear, he says, take it or leave it. Not much choice.
Unlike today, probably.
Oh, completely different now. He also observed the large Cuban immigrant population in Miami. He was often mistaken for Cuban. People would speak Spanish to him.
Which he didn't know beyond Inca.
No hablo español. I don't speak Spanish. He even highlights the stark philosophical difference. Capitalist Florida right next to communist Cuba, just 90 miles away.
That delves into that complex tapestry of immigrant communities within the U.S., right? How different groups form their own enclaves.
Yeah.
And how those interethnic interactions can lead to amusing misunderstandings, especially around language and identity. It really emphasizes that the immigrant experience is never monolithic. There are layers upon layers.
He recalls meeting Ashok Arora there, another one of the Infosys founders. He briefly worked at DBC in Florida.
Wow, another connection.
He was highly impressed, found it an honor to sit next to him. But then Ashok Arora just poofed, vanished without a goodbye or contact info.
Huh. Common in the transient IT world, he says.
Yeah, apparently quite common back then. People moved around a lot for projects. He also recounts these nostalgic memories of Mumbai monsoons, dreaming of steaming hot chai and bhajis, those savory fried snacks.
Comfort food.
Tried to recreate the magic in Florida, but admits some things can never be replaced, no matter how hard you try.
That ache for home.
Yeah.
It never fully goes away, does it?
Seems not. So after about a year and a half in Florida, another move. DBC relocates again, this time to Los Angeles, 1991.
Wow. Constantly moving. New York, Florida, now L.A.
He was chosen to join the new office. He thought of L.A. as this faraway mystical land, surfers, beaches, Hollywood, you know.
The stereotype.
His boss, Mr. R, was apparently tremendously patient. He allowed him to stop traveling for software demos so he could be around more for his family, which was great. He honored that promise.
That's a good boss. Makes a huge difference.
Huge. His first impression of LA, though, from the plane. Brown mountain ranges and snaking freeways laden with heavy traffic. A big contrast to Florida's green lushness.
Yeah, very different landscape. Welcome to LA traffic. And that geographical shift, it highlights yet another layer of adaptation, doesn't it? Not just climate, but the whole urban landscape, the car culture, the freeway obsession that defines Los Angeles.
Totally.
It emphasizes again that America isn't one single experience. It's a collection of really distinct regional identities, each requiring its own kind of adjustment.
So upon arrival, next culture shock. LA's complex network of freeways, and the constant conversation about which freeway is best, which route to take.
Ah, yes, the quintessential LA conversation,
Yeah.
the 405 versus the 101.
Exactly. He learned space was at a premium. Buildings felt huddled close together, not the sprawling metropolis he'd maybe envisioned.
Interesting perception. Less spread out than he thought.
Yeah. He recalls getting an apartment in Woodland Hills, but the tandem parking where you have to park behind another car in a shared spot,
Oh, I hate tandem parking.
it baffled him. Made him feel low, he said. But his boss, Mr. R, told him, LA is so popular that everyone wants to come here. You'll get used to the pace of a big city.
And did he?
He admits, since then, I've fallen in love with this place. LA is home.
Ah, so he found his place eventually.
Seems so. Then, September 1992, he takes his first trip back to India. Plans for months. Buys the largest possible suitcases.
Of course. Got to bring stuff back.
Calls family for a shopping list, knickknacks, edible items not readily available in India back then. He describes the art of packing, meticulously weighing the suitcases to be exactly pointing to the allowed weightage and not an ounce less.
Huh. I know that ritual well. Maximizing every ounce.
He flew Singapore Airlines, had a long layover in Singapore, even did a city tour. And landing back in Mumbai, he just felt at home, seeing only brown faces, hearing familiar languages. that comfort.
That journey back home is such a critical part of the immigrant narrative, isn't it?
It really is.
It reveals those lingering ties, that desire to bring a piece of the new world back to the old, and just that profound emotional connection to your origins. It's a powerful illustration of that dual identity, 1 foot here, 1 foot there.
But his return to LA brought a harsh reality.
Oh no, what happened?
His apartment was burglarized while he was gone.
Oh.
He describes feeling numb, then fear and anger, that feeling of violation and vulnerability. His friend up high had been checking on the place, but the lock was chipped.
Did they take much?
Strangely, nothing was missing. But the emotional toll was huge. He admits he was a little harsh on up high initially, out of shock maybe, but says it took him a long time to get over it.
I can only imagine that feeling of insecurity.
Yeah. The experience left him feeling lonely and vulnerable. It affected his work. He'd just stare out windows. His boss, Mr. R, was kind again, gave him some days off.
That's good. Support matters so much then. And this period really is a testament to the power of community, of friendship, in overcoming that kind of trauma and loneliness in a new country.
Absolutely.
It shows how those social support networks become just essential pillars for emotional well-being, for getting back on your feet. It's where the practical needs and the emotional needs really collide.
His friends definitely stepped in. Anjali, friend from Long Beach, invited him for a weekend. Her home-cooked Indian meals brought him back to India, he said.
Comfort food again. Powerful.
He notes how ubiquitous Indian restaurants and grocery stores are now compared to how scarce they were back then. He dreaded evenings alone in his apartment after the break-in. He'd work extra hours or just play loud music until his neighbor complained.
Trying to cope.
He found solace playing racquetball and golf with friends like Apai and Shiva. He highlights their shared love for cricket, their shared Bombaya Hindi dialect from Mumbai, just finding that common ground, that humor.
Connection is key.
Whereas disaster strikes again, January 17th, 1994, 4:30 a.m.
Oh, I know that date. Northridge earthquake.
Exactly. Massive 6.7 earthquake hits L.A., centered in Northridge. He said it was loud, more violent, and lasted longer than anything he'd ever experienced.
Terrifying.
His kitchen. Just a scene of shattered glassware. And with nowhere safe to go immediately, he realized he was essentially homeless. No wallet, no ID, no social security card on him.
In the middle of chaos.
His civil engineer friend, Shiva, lived in Burbank, which was less affected. Shiva offered his home. And get this, 9 people ended up crammed into Shiva's single-family house.
9 people. Who is everyone?
His own family, another family, Keshav, Smriti, another couple, Farat, Manasi, with their 7-month-old baby Abhishek, plus Shiva himself.
Wow. Community pulling together again, big time.
He quickly rented a new apartment in Burbank after that, just testament to the resilience, the rapid adaptation you needed.
That earthquake experience, it just perfectly encapsulates the unpredictable nature of life, doesn't it? Especially in a new country. It takes all those individual challenges he's faced and amplifies them into this shared community crisis. Forces immediate collective problem solving. It's such a powerful narrative of resilience in the face of unexpected disaster. And it highlights that collective spirit that often emerges.
Yeah, absolutely. And our narrator reflects, his colorful journey. It isn't unique, he says. He mentions other friends' stories, Shiva spending 5 days stuck at JFK when he arrived, Kevin getting shot, another friend, Ramsey, being mugged on his last day in New York.
Shared struggles, shared resilience.
He sees himself as just a cog in the wheel of a flourishing country, someone who arrived early in the U.S. before all the huge tech advances we see now.
Humble perspective.
And he concludes by saying, if a mere BSc graduate from the vernacular medium can make it, so can you. He ties it to the old New York lottery tagline, all you need is $1 and a dream.
Nice full circle moment there.
Ultimately, he feels he's moved from being the apex stone of a pyramid, supported by others early on,
right,
to now becoming a supporting stone for a newcomer to be the apex, helping others.
Paying it forward.
So what does this all mean for us listening to this? This is a deep dive into the confession of an Indian immigrant. It's taken us through this incredible arc, hasn't it? Vulnerability, resilience, transformation. It highlights that the immigrant experience is just so much more complex than just packing bags and moving. It's this continuous negotiation of identity, culture, community, marked by these profound challenges, but also these unexpected acts of kindness and support.
Indeed. And what really stands out, I think, is that cyclical nature of support you just mentioned. How those who were once dependent, needing help, they become the foundation for new arrivals later on. And it raises, I think, an important question for you, the listener. How do you, or maybe how could you, become a supporting stone for someone else on their own unique journey, helping them reach their pinnacle, whatever that might be?
It's a really powerful thought to end on, isn't it? It's a story of profound personal growth, navigating all these twists and turns spiced with numerous shifts, and discovering, as he puts it, that the play of fate is forever unseen. We hope this deep dive has given you a richer, maybe more nuanced understanding of the immigrant experience. Until next time.